Hi, this is Fred Hadley. We got a report that a vehicle has gone into the lake close to Ainsley A. They seem to have something on the ground there. I don't know if it's a person or what. Just seemed to be equipment there. We just got here on the scene. Want to thank Al Fixit for calling it in. See, they got the diving team here. As you can see, there's all kinds of fire rescue equipment here. This is alongside Century Village Boulevard, right by Brighton Drive. We got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces of equipment here. Not exactly sure what the status of this is. We do see a gurney. See if we can get a zoom in on that. I don't think there's anybody in the gurney. Have you seen anything? Do you know what's going on?
I saw the thing. Lady ran the stop sign. He was coming in. He got hit from the back. That's the bumper.
Oh, this is the bumper right here, huh?
And he
Where's the car?
car was in the lake.
It's still in the lake. Did they get the lady out?
There was a man.
It was a man?
Yeah,
Is he okay?
he's fine.
Where is he?
Yeah, he went home to change.
He went where?
Home to change his clothes. He was sopping wet.
Oh, but he otherwise on.
Oh, he's fine.
Hello there.
It's Mr. Fred Hadley on the scene.
We're on the air. We're on Facebook Live. How are you, Al? Thanks for
Okay.
calling this
he's
in.
okay.
We have a gentleman that...
See this? We got the
I see
bumper
that.
right here. What kind of car is that?
I
Kia.
don't know, okay. That's possible. That's the back bumper.
That's the back.
I know the fella that fell dead.
So where did it actually cross over? Do you know?
Oh.
Where did it cross over?
He right about here, right by the fire. He see the car, the tracks right here.
Right
He
here?
accelerated.
Back up over there somewhere for me. Thank you. Back further, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So what about the other vehicle?
He's over there. He's over there.
This is Fred Hadley. Again, we're at the corner of Brighton and Century Village Boulevard. Apparently this is one of the two vehicles. The other one is still submerged. And as you can see, the front bumper is totally off this one.
My name's Nikki. I just live here. I just heard the noise.
Hi, guys. Somebody has her paperwork.
That'd be the police officer. The police do. Yeah, right on the other side of that, the biggest truck there, that ladder 57, are the police officers, and they've got all that. Bye, y'all. Have a good day.
Obviously a resident of Century Village, has the house sticker on the window. See what looks like to be a car park here. Can't see any sign of the submerged vehicle. Fortunately, everybody seems to be okay. There's an elderly female driver that was in the sedan parked on the side. Hi, this is Fred Hadley, and we're back on the scene of the submerged 2016 Kia Optima. And apparently the tow truck drivers are on the scene. And you can see that they're at the shore of Lake Windermere, which is a man-made lake of 12-foot depth that was formed when they built Century Village. All of the buildings are sitting on little tiny hills that were made up of the earth scooped out of this lake. So apparently they came, they shined their lights in the lake, but I don't think there's anything visible. There certainly wasn't anything visible in the daytime. It's collecting a few parts. And I think what we're waiting for is a professional diver. And that person will have to put on a wetsuit, I guess, enter the lake. And attach the tow hook to the underside of the Kia. So this is Fred Hadley once again, and it looks like a super wrecker has now shown up on the scene here at the intersection of Cornwall Drive and, make that Clubhouse Drive and Century Village Boulevard, where an earlier two-car collision caused one of the vehicles, a 2016 Kia Optima, to go across this lawn and into the lake. The driver who we spoke to is fine. He was seat belted. He was able to open the door, let himself out, couldn't touch bottom. This is a 12-foot deep man-made lake, and swam until he was able to touch bottom. Then he just simply walked ashore and got home somehow, maybe a friend, and he still wants to get his cell phone out of that car. As you all know, your whole life is on that cell phone. It's the importance of always backing up your contacts and so on. So this super wrecker is now here. Now, the big question is, where's the diver? Obviously, they're going to need somebody to go underwater and find the vehicle, attach a hook, so they can winch this vehicle out. We once had, a couple of years ago, a car went through the fence near the turnpike and went into the E2W canal, which is, I don't think it's quite as deep as this. It's probably only about 6 to 8 feet deep. And the woman was rescued. Well, she was never really fully submerged. The water was about up to her neck, I think, but she got out. Fire rescue got her out. So now we see a couple of guys are approaching the water's edge. And we'll just try to discreetly move over a little bit so we can kind of see what's going on. So we're laying down the hardware that they'll need to extricate this submerged Optima. And presumably there's a diver on the scene or on his way, or her way. As I said, there were no injuries. Amazing that there weren't any. The woman that was driving the Honda was coming from Clubhouse Drive, and according to the submerged driver, she ran the stop sign. He was entering the property from Lyons Road, heading east on Century Village Boulevard, and the two cars collided. Right in the middle of the intersection. There's debris all over the roadway, headlight assemblies, etc. He then I don't know exactly how he did it, but he must have spun and wound up facing this direction, because normally you would think his car would have gone the other way from the impact, but maybe he spun and was still under power. He jumped the curb approximately where you see those guys standing. There's tire marks right on the curb there, and kept going across the lawn here. And he was still going at a good rate of speed, because the car went, according to the driver, about 30-40 feet into the water here. So, but he was able to get himself out. He just simply opened the door, couldn't reach the bottom with his feet, so he swam a ways until he was able to just walk out. Then he went home, changed his clothes. He came back to the scene, and he seemed none the worse for wear, although he said he was a little shaken up, as you can imagine. And well, I think we have the diver. There he is. You can walk around with oxygen on the tank on your back unless you're a diver. You can zoom in a little bit. He's definitely the diver. Picking up the end of the tow rope. And he's got a flashlight. I guess it's waterproof. And there he goes into the water.
Tell him where it is if he asks me.
The diver is now fully submerged. See the light from his flashlight. On the left, they're pulling out the tow line from this, what I call super wrecker. Very brightly lit. There you can see the flashlight of the diver has come out of the water now. It's a very powerful light the diver's got in his hand. He's got the hook. About to enter the water now. Yes, ma'am.
Back up. Behind that tree.
Yes, ma'am.
Up on the concrete. Listen, everyone on the concrete.
Yes, sir.
Good. I apologize for that. You stepped out over there with the rest of everybody. It's worked out. Thank you very much. I understand, but it's a little dangerous.
You can see it in the air there, right in front of the pedestrian sign. And the building you're looking at in the background is Ainsley A.
night.
And I think the vehicle is now coming out. Apparently, the lights are still on. Those Korean batteries are pretty good, I guess. It's a 2016 Kia Optima sedan. The gentleman driving it, I just have a first name. His name is Elliot. I think he lives in Fanshawe. He was not injured. He was wearing a seatbelt, he claims, which I believe. And the rear bumper of the car wound up on the ground, right on the path over here. So now the vehicle is coming up out of the lake. Slowly as they pull it up. See, the license plate is barely attached. Glass seems to be intact. He said the water was already coming into the car up to his chest before he was able to get the door open, which he did without any difficulty. But he stepped out, realized he couldn't reach the bottom. It's a good 12 feet deep once you get out to the center of the lake. This is a man-made lake. When they built Century Village, this used to be agricultural use. So they scooped out the earth to make the lake, and the buildings are on little hills to provide some degree of flood control, so that the buildings are on fairly high ground. And it's the earth that they scooped out of the ground here that makes the bases or the foundations for the buildings. And that lake is called Lake Windermere. And it's the centerpiece of Century Village, Boca Raton, which is a 500-acre property here in beautiful Palm Beach County. We're actually outside Boca Raton city limit, but it's considered West Boca Raton. Post office just calls it plain old Boca Raton, but we are outside the city limit. And the Kia still coming up the hill now, fully out of the water. You can see some water draining in the rear bumper area. Hope it's water. I don't know whether there's any gasoline or oil that seeped into the lake, but obviously that's not good for the fishes. We have successfully extricated the 2016 Kia Optima from Lake Windermere. We've been submerged since about 5:45 this evening. The driver did get out, unhurt, amazingly. Went home, took a shower, came back to the scene, and said, I'm looking for my cell phone. I can't wait till they get the car out.
Oh, just let you go.
So, oh, and I think that's the driver right there. I think that's Elliot. Wearing the blue shorts. You gotta let him see if you can find his cell phone. You know that feeling that if you lose your cell phone, your whole life is on hold. Whoop, all that water just came pouring out of the bottom of the car. Hope the deputy's wearing the galoshes. She's handing him a couple of objects. I'm hoping that he's got his cell phone. It's an iPhone, so it's possible it might be okay. They're supposedly waterproof, at least the newer models. The ones without the old headphone jack. He's got something in his hand there. I guess maybe it's his cell phone. Let's see if we can get a word with him as soon as he gets away from there. Elliot, did you get the phone? You got the phone? You got it? I guess he didn't get it. So still looking. Maybe that's the phone the deputy just handed. I think that's his wife. See if we can get a little closer now. Is that the phone?
No, the phone's
You
gone.
didn't find it yet?
It's gone.
Oh. Still looking. Anybody sees an alligator with a cell phone in its mouth, definitely give us a call.
Oh my God. He's upset that he lost his handy that. Now pull up your
Little wet, but
pants.
it's going strong.
Ellie, pull up your pants.
I think he found his hat.
Yeah. For those who neighbors are filming your butt crack.
Yeah.
Not that it would work.
I don't know if it'll pass.
As you can see, he's in pretty good physical shape. An area scratch. I don't even think he got any water in his face. Well, maybe when he swam a little.
If it's all electronic,
It will pop. Battery's done. Yeah, I put it back in the car.
turn that in. It's a motor vehicle. You'll get a new one.
Looking in the trunk now.
Trying to fish it too.
Best way to go fishing. Drive right into the lake. See the farm?
I don't think he's found his cell phone yet.
Side. Right here. You see where it is? Right here. Sitting right here. Really quick.
Well, I was pretty far gone in front of her.
Yeah. She must have thought you were completely gone.
She didn't have a. Looks like some good.
Back up. We're bringing the tow truck in.
Yep. Okay, you want me to take it for you real quick?
You gotta have about 75 people of your neighbors that have pictures of that.
Yeah, I'm sure they do all do.
So what do you see over here,
I saw him say something on the floor, but it might have just been my flip flops.
Okay,
I'll leave
let's
them
let the
on
tow
that
truck
floor.
come in. You're gonna have to back up again.
All right. I took some good pictures for you. You're fine.
Oh, they're backing up the flatbed.
You gotta come over here like you said. Thank you.
So we're not going to tell you again.
I'm going
No, but I
home.
told you 3 times already. You still
I'm
don't wanna
going
listen.
home. Sorry. So there you have it. They got the car onto the flatbed truck. We're being scooted away from the scene. This is Fred Hadley reporting from between Ainsley A and Cornwall E, where the 2016 Kia Optima has been successfully extricated from its watery parking spot. The driver, Elliot, was not injured. You saw him earlier in the video. He came back to see if he could find his cell phone. I don't think he did find his cell phone. I'm not even sure if it would work after being submerged, but being an iPhone, it's possible that it could. And that's the end of the story. The other driver apparently was not injured. She was coming out of Clubhouse Drive and crossing Century Village Boulevard. Elliot was eastbound. I think he lives in Fanshawe, so he's probably going home. And they collided at that intersection. And somehow or other, his vehicle went opposite to the direction that you would think it would have gone. But she was coming from the right as you look at this picture, so you would have thought that his vehicle would have been pushed over to the left, but must have spun around and he must have still been under in gear, and the car just kept going. across this path, across the lawn. And went into Lake Windermere. Elliot managed to open the door, get out, swam a few feet till he could touch the bottom, walk the shore, and other than wet and shaken up, he was okay. So that's it. So please watch your intersections. I hate saying this, but observe your speed limits at 20 miles an hour on the main drag here, 15 or even 10 in some of the associations. Don't trust the stop signs. They're only advisory here. I mean, they're supposed to be mandatory, but there's no enforcement. And always wear your seatbelt. So good night, be safe. Fred Hadley reporting over Facebook and ultimately YouTube for the Village Century.